All right, everybody. Thank you for watching Eastern Volleyball Network. I'm Graham Wren. That's Kevin Knight. You know who we are if you're watching this. If you don't already like and subscribe to our channel, it helps us out. We're pushing for 1,000 subscribers, so we have live streaming capabilities on our YouTube channel. Hopefully, live streaming some matches soon for y'all. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the bracket for this weekend's tournament. It's down at Captain Bill's in Wilmington, North Carolina, AVP America, 17 teams.
First one of the year, right?
Yeah, first Bills of the year.
Should be a great time. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all shakes out and see if Nick's reign of dominance ends when they move from indoor to outdoor.
Yeah, that's definitely something we'll be looking at, and I will definitely be picking accordingly. We'll see. I think I texted him earlier and was like, hey, you and Tillman kind of remind me of a local version of how Dahlhauser and Lucena look on the international stage. So, maybe they'll be able to make a miracle run to the semi, but we'll see.
Run straight undefeated to the semi and then immediately trounce.
And then so yeah, we'll see. It'll be fun. We'll see how a Atlantic region top volleyball player meshes with a honorable mention Atlantic volleyball player. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, so should be straightforward. We've got essentially what outside of the 16 versus 17 match, we've got round of 16, round of 8, round of 4 for the winner side, and then essentially the same thing, just going in reverse on the loser side.
Yes, you're correct.
Let's get it rolling.
Without further ado, the 16 versus 17, Brett McMillan, Kenny Bryant against Lewis and Wallace. Lewis and Wallace have a combined 2.5 points.
Out of not knowing who they are, and also that statement there, I'm gonna go with the other guys.
Yeah, I agree. Look for 2.44 points. Excuse me. Let's be factual here. Every 100th of a point matters. I like Brett McMillan's chances to come out fiery, come out swinging, and get a dub here. Next, Angel Dashe, Jeff Samuels, the number 1 overall seed against McMillan and Bryant. Dashe and Samuels are going to take this convincingly.
Angel's tough to beat at Wilmington, so yeah, that's a tough draw.
Yeah, absolutely. But hopefully McMillan and Bryant will be able to do some damage in the losers bracket. We'll see. Next, at the 8-9, we have the Captain Bill's local legend, Adam Hyatt, John Lucas against Colton Williams and Parker Beam. What are you thinking here, Kev?
Oh, man. Colton and Parker are definitely going to be a dramatically undersized team. I think Parker will probably do full-time blocking, but maybe not. I don't know. They're both super shoddy, really young guys coming up. I think in their early 20s, I think is where they both are, versus Adam Hyatt, who's again been a long-time legend, and John Lucas, who's I believe got a volleyball club along with his wife in Wilmington called Lucas Beach. John and Adam are a little bit more of a classic big little, and Adam's been playing for way longer than any of the other three, so I'm going to go with him on this.
Okay. So here's my thing. It's March. It's the beginning of March. It's early. I don't know how much Adam and John have been playing. I know that it's just starting to get warm out there. I also know via Instagram that Colton and Parker have been getting after it. They're out there. They've been out there since in January and February getting reps. I think they play a lot at Gee's. So they're taking full advantage of kind of the little community that Gee is fostering down there. Big shout outs to Gee. I think it's wonderful.
We might call that court a temple of sorts.
Yes, I agree. We'll call it the Wilmington Temple. So I know that they've been out there, and I think that if this was happening in May or June, I think it probably is a little bit of an easier pick. But with Colton and Parker already being relatively in season and ready to go, and Adam and John probably shaking some rust off, I think it's a little closer than that. So I'm going to dive a little deeper into this matchup. people talk about Adam. So with it being a toss-up, I think it comes down to what we're going to call intrinsic values, bordering on non-objective criteria. And when people think of Adam Hyatt, they think of his beard. Adam's got a great beard. And then you look across the net and you look at what kind of facial hair that Colton and Parker have going on. Parker is about as clean shaven as they come, if memory serves. However, Colton, I'm going to be honest, I took one look at Colton. I couldn't tell if he was, a person or if he was a 2-in-1 body wash and shampoo, because he's just that suave. So based on better facial hair, I think I got to go with Colton.
I can't go with that take. I think that last time I saw him, he was in between maybe a goatee and a mustache. And Adam is just way more consistent with the lush, well manicured beard that he carries around. Much like his offense, just very consistent and gets the job done.
I mean, here's what I'm going to say. How many times in Pirates of the Caribbean do you bet against Jack Sparrow?
None. You never do.
Yeah, so we can't bet against Colton here.
Well, I'm making you coin toss it because I'm going with the beard.
All right. I don't have a coin with me, so I'm going to odd even you. Odd or even?
Even.
All right. You got it. We'll take Adam and John reluctantly. Because I update my bracket here real quick. Give me 1 second.
Appreciate you, bracket daddy.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to the next match, we have the 5 versus the 12, Spencer Gaston and Larry Salefsky. A little bit of a late draw.
Oh, there you go.
Spencer was originally signed up with Helmick. I don't really know what's going on there, but maybe a little trouble in paradise. Who knows?
Who knows? I've never known Matt to be a flake, but relationships will do that to you sometimes.
Yeah, that'll happen. So we have Spencer and Larry against Matt Hazel and Mauricio Reese, I believe is his first name. Let me double check that. Are you familiar with these two?
Those two are grass players turned beach, I want to say. So I think they're going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle with the surface a bit, and I think this becomes fairly straightforward. Larry, again, has been playing for a long time. Really solid player. Spencer's on the come up. Trained in Florida. He's trained in South Carolina. He's trained in North Carolina. He's trained in Virginia. So yeah, I like Spencer to take this, but super happy to see the other two guys out there.
Yeah, I don't think Hazel and Reese will struggle with the surface, as you're saying. When they came to TVA indoor sand, they looked pretty comfortable in the sand, which that's relatively deep. But and they were doing some pretty solid things, moving around a good bit. Kind of a fast defender with a relatively physical blocker. I do think that they still lose this. Convincingly isn't the word, but not unconvincingly. Maybe like a 21, like 16-ish. Or something like that, or they just get rolled. Who knows? But I would look for them to do some damage on the losers bracket.
Okay.
But we'll go with Gaston and Salefsky. Next, the 4 versus 13, we have Graham Wren and Brian Dirks against Brink and Bolin.
Don't know the other two, and I love your partner Brian Dirks, so I'm going to go with the old Durkee sandwich, the Myrtle Beach local. And glad he's giving you a shot on this one.
Yeah, I appreciate your confidence in me in spite of Brian Dirks. Appreciate it.
On to the next.
Yeah, just kidding. On to the next one. We've got Andrew McMurray at the 3 and Misha Freistater against Kai Dunstan and McNamara.
I don't know McNamara, but Kai's a Wilmington guy, and I've heard he's not been training all that much, and that's never going to go super well against Andrew McMurray, especially with a guy that he's comfortable with. So
yeah,
rumor has it that they might be switching sides, which is wild to me. Misha might be on the right.
I saw that they've been training a bit and posting some Instagram highlights there. I think regardless of which side they're on, I think they'll take it.
Yeah,
Next, we have the 6th seed, Mark Fornicari and Jay Madero against Big and Britton. Garrett Big and August Britton.
I don't think I know that we've talked about Britain before, but I don't think I know them that well. The other two are they're both in their upper 30s, and they played a lot of beach volleyball. We could call it Team Bump Nectar. I think they'll probably both platform set, which is a lost art, as Mark would like to remind everybody.
Yeah.
Just knowing Mark and Jay, I think that overall they'll be pretty solid because Jay's a good blocker and Mark's a pretty good defender, and both have live arms. So I like them in this matchup, but I don't know as I move on how well they're going to do.
Yeah, I looked into Big and Britain a little bit. They're either juniors or just finished being juniors because they had some U18 finishes, a fair amount of double A's, kind of making that transition good for them. Tough first draw.
Yep.
Yeah. Moving on, we've got at the 7-10, Josh Lanier, Brian Conacher against Giora Sella and Scott Schwartz.
Love to see Josh and Brian making that trip. What are your thoughts on Guy and Scott Schwartz?
I don't know Scott. I don't know Scott. I know Guy. Guy. I assume Guy will be full-time blocking.
Yep.
I kind of give I give Brian's defense and mobility behind Josh's block a lot of credit in this matchup, and I think that they'll end up taking it. Maybe in 2, maybe in 3, but I think overall Josh and Brian have been training too much to lose this one.
They definitely both have been putting the work in. I'm sure Guy has as well, considering he's
Right.
built that. So yeah, I think it all comes down to Scott Schwartz. It's hard. It's a hard one to pick because I don't have a clear picture in my mind of what his strengths and weaknesses are. But I'll go with my Raleigh guys because they've been grinding pretty hard together, trying to figure things out. So go with Josh and Brian.
Look at you mixing it up and hyping up your Raleigh training group. I'm sure that's new for all the viewers, and it's nice to see.
Nothing if not consistent.
Yep. At the 2 versus the 15, we have Nick Drucker and Brian Tillman against Bodie Eanes and Lunati.
So is this where Bodie makes his statement? Where Bodie makes his stand here and upsets the 2 seed?
No.
Nah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. We're going to go Drucker and Tillman.
Drucker has dominated the scene thus far this year in 2 events, winning both. Got to imagine he's going to carry that momentum into this. So I like the 2 seed.
Yeah. All right. Next at the 1 versus the 8, we have Dasha Samuels against Adam Hyatt and John Lucas. I think this is where Adam and John go ahead and drop down to the losers bracket.
I don't know if Angel's ever lost to Adam. So that's an easy statistical pick there.
Yeah. Next, at the 4 versus the 5, we have Graham Wren and Brian Dirks against Spencer Gaston and Larry Selewski.
It's tough. That's really tough, actually. So we have almost mirror images of each other for teams, except for you're left-handed, so that puts you at an advantage.
A little bit of Spider-Man meme going on here.
Yeah. So Larry and Brian are both 6'7", 6'8", and have played against each other for about 15 years now. Probably longer. They've played against each other longer than you and Spencer played ball, I think.
Probably.
So it's 2 bigs with a lot of experience playing with 2 smalls that are grinding pretty hard and trying to I don't know, assert dominance over each other. Larry and Brian set probably about the same. I think that both are fairly talented in that area. I'd say Brian probably is the better server. Larry might be the better blocker. You and Spencer are kind of a wash depending on how which version of you and which version of Spencer shows up in my mind. I could see that going either way. It's going to get chippy. You and Spencer are both loud enough, and Brian kind of eggs that on. Oh, this is tough. I would love to see the film of this. Early in the day, I'm gonna go with you and Dirks because I think there's gonna be some wind. There normally is earlier on in the year, and Dirks has a great jumper. So I think I'm gonna pick you guys over Spencer.
Okay, sounds good. I agree. That being said, I definitely think it'll be a hard fought battle. I know Spencer's been training a lot. I've been training a lot as well, and I think at the end of the day, it'll come down to who's a little better prepared for this match. And I'd like to believe that's me, but I definitely don't want to discount the all the work that he's been putting in as well. It'll definitely be a good one for sure. Yep. Next at the 3 versus the 6, we have Andrew McMurray and Misha Freistater against Mark Fornicchiari and Jay Madero.
Ooh. So I think, first of all, this one goes 3. And I think it goes 3, and Andrew and Misha end up switching sides a couple times to try to figure out what works. Jay and Mark are going to be frustrating because I think that they're going to be a tough team to get out of system. Well, I say get out of system, but essentially they're both solid passers and they both bump set. So it's going to, they have a lot of range to their game, and they both can hit and chisel a lot of different shots. So that'll be frustrating to play against. That said, however, Andrew and Misha play together probably 4 times a week, and they're really just trying to figure out how to break through the semis. What are your thoughts on this one?
Let me ask you this. What's your opinion on how Mark and Jay are going to mesh together? Like, have they played together before?
To my knowledge, they've never played together. They're both mature, like, human beings. I don't know, attitude-wise, Jay likes to kind of be positive and be up on every point and a little more happy. Mark is a bit of the polar opposite of that. He's more dry. He's more like, do your job, we're gonna win this kind of deal, like a almost business-like attitude. Similar almost to like a Taylor Crabb, where he if he bounces a ball, he's happy, and if he digs a ball, he's happy, and about anything else, it's just kind of business as normal. So I don't know personality-wise how they're gonna do, but Jay gets along with most people, so I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think it'll definitely be curious for sure. That part of me thinks that Mark's going to come out and kind of try to establish dominance on the court, and both with play and both with his words verbally. And I feel like he thinks he's gonna play Misha and Andrew, but he's playing Misha and Drew. Which
you think Drew, the alter ego, is coming out?
I think Drew, the alter ego of Andrew, comes out here.
That was coined by Matt Helmick, right?
Yes, coined by Matt Helmick, RIP. Basically refers to when Andrew gets really pissed and decides that he's gonna take over matches and or just do everything that he possibly can. I think I got to go with Andrew and Misha in 2 here. I think Jay and Mark's I'm not going to say lack of size, but comparatively to Misha, lack of size at the net is a big factor here, because I think both teams are going to pass well and be in system a lot. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Just too many high lines to dig.
Yeah, too many high lines to dig, and on the flip side, the high lines have to be too high on the other side.
Fair enough. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an upset, but I'll go with you on this one because it's a team with a lot of chemistry against a team that I don't think has played together. So, and we don't know how much Jay has been training or not.
Right, and we picked against Misha and Andrew last time against kind of what we thought were known quantities from Ohio. You didn't. Me me and Cortland did, and boy, were we wrong about that one. So I got to go with Misha and Andrew. Next, 2 versus 7, Josh Lanier, Brian Conacher, Nick Drucker, Brian Tillman.
Do you think this is where, like, Drucker and Tillman put it together, or do you think this is where they had their hiccup and drop an early one to my guys from Raleigh?
I think Brian is going to get absolutely demolished inside out.
Damn. Tillman normally doesn't get demolished inside out, but that's a strong take.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, I think Brian's been working hard, but I think the combination of Tillman at the net and Drucker behind him, I think he's in trouble.
You're talking about the Conacher Brian, not the.
Yes, I think the Conacher Brian is in a lot of trouble in this matchup.
That's fair. I guess we can let Nick and Tillman squeak through this one.
Yeah, as much as it might kill me. Next, in the round of 4, we have Angel and Jeff against Graham, myself, and Brian Dirks.
I don't think Angel and Jeff give you or Brian enough credit. I think Angel's been quite successful against Dirks, and so I think that you guys are. This is going to be a strong take, but I think you guys are up at the tech in both sets, and I think that Angel and Jeff either squeak both out to win in 2, or they go to 3 and Jeff wakes up and takes over. That's my take.
Okay. Picking Dashe Samuels.
Yeah.
Hurts my heart.
As it should.
But my brain gets it. Next, we'll go with Andrew McMurray, Misha Freistater against Nick Drucker, Brian Tillman.
Oh. How many tournaments have I picked Andrew over Nick Drucker?
2.
Yeah, in multiple matches too. I probably picked him in 3 matches to be over him. Never once has that played out. But this could be where Nick and Tillman drop.
Could be.
What's your thoughts on this?
Have you ever seen Misha play Tillman?
I don't think I have.
I don't think I have either, and I feel like that's what I'm really curious to see is kind of how Misha does matching up with with Tillman's block trying to side out, and then like I feel pretty good about Misha and Andrew's ability to potentially generate some opportunities. Tillman not known for being the best setter. Which I think will definitely give them some a few opportunities, as well as potentially getting Tillman out of system a little bit. So I think Andrew and Misha will definitely have their chances, and I think it comes down to how well Misha can side out, because I would suspect that Drucker is going to give Misha every ball in this match.
Yeah, this is tough. I think if Misha's on the right side, Drucker and Tillman take it. If Misha's on his natural side, it's a tougher call.
I've been thinking about it. I think I got to go with Tillman and Drucker at the end of the day, as much as we want to talk about, X, Y, and Z reasons why Tillman's not going to win. If you go back to our top 5 Atlantic players video, shameless plug, we talk about how, on paper, it feels like all these people should beat Brian Tillman. And then, he shows up to tournaments and all of a sudden people who were getting 2nd and 3rds are getting 5ths. And I think that continues to hold true.
All right. Let's go with Tillman and Drucker on this then.
All right. All right. And that drops us down to the losers. Contenders.
Kills me.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start the losers bracket.
Okay. Sorry. Inputting real quick. This does make me a little sad though. I was low-key hoping for a matchup with Andrew and Misha this tournament. Kind of wanted to see how it would go.
Good stack up.
No, and unfortunately, we're on opposite sides again. If this prediction holds true, so it's unfortunate. All right, first match in the 17th place match, high stakes here. No one wants to be 17th in a 17-team pool or 17-team tournament. Like even if there's like 19 and there's 3 17th places, you're like, hey, you know what? We didn't get last. We would have beaten those other 2. But there is literally zero doubt here. There is one 17th place finisher. We're going to find out who it is. Bodie Eanes, Ralph Lunati against Lewis and Wallace.
I got nothing. I'm going with Bodie.
That I agree. I'm like, I don't think Bodie, let alone Bodie's dad, would let a 17th happen in Captain Bills. So we got to go Bodie here, the young gun. So now we're moving up to 13th place. The newly anointed Bodie Eanes and Ralph Lunati against Giora Sella and Scott Schwartz.
I don't know Ralph well enough.
I don't know Ralph very well either.
I think I like Giora in this one.
I was gonna say I like Bodie. I think Bodie is the best player on that court. I think Bodie finds a way to win.
All right, you convinced me.
Yeah, you're not gonna make me coin flip.
I don't think I'm gonna make you coin flip on this one. I don't know Scott Schwartz well enough. I know that in the past Bodie's brought people that struggle with ball control, but
interesting.
Yeah,
I think Bodie's partner is going to bring some hidden mystical forces to help him get that victory. Ralph Lunati of the Illuminati is going to. I think they're going to get that one. The next 13th place match, Big and Britain against Dunstan and McNamara.
You can coin toss this one if you want.
All right. Let's coin toss it because like part of me respects because like Kai. Even if Kai hasn't been training, Kai's a pretty mobile defender, and I can tell you, I think especially like juniors they're gonna be shooting a lot. They're gonna give Kai a lot of opportunities to run some shots down. So I think I want to go with Kai.
Let's go with Kai.
Yeah, go with what we know. Next, we have Brink and Bolin against Hazel and Reese.
I'm leaving this one up to you. I can't.
I'm going Hazel and Reese. I mean, they look solid. They look solid at TVA indoor sand. I think Reese is physical enough the net, and Hazel's fast enough and has a diverse enough offense behind them to generate some real trouble for Brink and Bolin.
You've seen them play, so I'm trusty on that one.
Okay. Next, we have Brett McMillan, Kenny Bryant against I'm assuming it's got to be McMillan. Sorry, I've got a typo here. Yeah, fuck. 17 L18. Give me 1 second. Let me verify what it is.
I guess in the interim, I'm actually.
I got it. McMillan Bryant against Colton and Parker.
Oh, okay. I think Parker and McMillan might train together at GEs, so they probably know their games pretty well. As well as
don't Colton and Brett live together?
You might be right. This is a roommate matchup you were talking about last time.
Yeah. You think
who won it last time?
Colton found a way to win?
I think if he won it before, we got to go with him again until his room.
I think that's true. I think that's absolutely true. Boys, if you're watching this, Brett, love you to death, but I'm sorry. I gotta go with Jack Sparrow here. He's gonna find a way to win, and it's a tough one for the boys, for sure. All right, 9th place. Bodie and Ralph Lunati against Spencer Gaston and Larry Selewski.
Larry typically does well at his own facility. Spencer, again, we've kind of covered them extensively. I think they're just both too clean to take Bodie on that one.
Yeah, too fresh, too clean. How that goes, right? Well, we'll go on to the next one. We got Kai and McNamara against Adam Hyatt and John Lucas.
Well, so I took Hyatt and Lucas earlier, so I'm gonna maintain my momentum on this. Do you want to try to make a counter argument for Kai or what?
No, I agree. I mean, I think Adam Hyatt is consistently good for at least one loser's bracket win. Like I've never been to a Bills and seen him go 0-2, or even, I've never seen him go 0-2. He's good for a loser's bracket win for sure. I got to go with Adam and John.
All right. Sounds good.
Next, we have Matt Hazel and Mauricio Reese against Josh Lanier and Brian Conacher.
Raleigh boys take this, no question. You going the other way?
I think Hazel and Reese are very, and maybe I'm overhyping them a little bit, and it's based off of one appearance. I think they're a lot closer to Josh and Brian than you realize, and just teams haven't seen them a ton.
For the dozens and dozens of viewers that we're going to have, I have not seen Reese and this guy play, and so I just picked Josh and Brian because I know who they are.
Sure. I'm willing to go Josh and Brian here as well, but like this is also a little bit of the Spider-Man pointing at each other matchup. So it's a little bit of that going on as well. Both speedy defenders, both larger, skilled-ish blockers who are hand setting now have made some big improvements. I think it goes 3. I do think that they'll find a way to take a set, but we are going to go with Lanier and Conacher until Hazel and Reese at least give us a reason to believe that they're going to get this dub versus just playing well against some better competition but still losing, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Next, we have Colton and Parker against Mark Fornicchiari, Jay Madero.
Experience wins on this one.
Experience wins, and zero size at the net, unfortunately.
Yep.
7th place match: Gaston and Selewski against Hyatt and Lucas.
I like Spencer and Larry here.
I do. I think they win pretty convincingly. Next match: Lanier and Conacher against Fornicchiari and Madero.
This is where Josh and Brian, and I think Mark keeps track of people that have beaten him and haven't, and he makes sure that list stays pretty stable over time.
Yeah, remember that when we get to the 5th place match.
Oh, okay.
I gotta agree with you here. I think Fornicchiari and Madero take it. 5th place match. This is where things, I think, kind of start to get really interesting. We have Gaston and Selewski against McMurray and Misha.
This is definitely very, very interesting. Can you really pick against Andrew in this one though?
That's a fair point. I think Andrew's kind of demonstrated that he's got a certain pedigree, and he doesn't lose to people beneath that pedigree. And I'm not saying that Spencer and Larry are below that, but I don't think they've proven that they've gotten there either. That makes sense.
They would have to massively exploit Misha, which it's doable, but it's not easy to win that match.
And like something I kind of think about Spencer. Spencer is very much a fast twitch kind of jumper. Not that his legs aren't strong, but like he definitely, is a very springy indoor player. And kind of what we've seen from when he plays tournaments down in Clearwater is you get him on hard packed sand and the dude can fly, and like the level of his game goes up by a good bit. And I think on hard packed sand, I think this is like an even matchup. Bills is not hard packed sand, so I got to go with Andrew and Misha.
All right.
Other fifth place match: Mark Fornicchiari, Jay Madero against Graham Wren, Brian Dirks.
Battle of the lefties.
Yeah.
I do like your ability to pick up Mark's variety of pokies. I think that you'll probably make that a personal mission of yours.
I think not to sell this short or to overhype it, but there's definitely a personal mission on both sides here. After all, in the top 5 video, we did call Mark a little washed up. And there was some good Facebook interaction about it. So I think Mark is going to come out really fired up for sure. So I don't want to undersell what they're bringing to the table as well.
So we bring back the list. Have you ever beaten Mark?
I've never beaten Mark. I've been fortunate enough to beat Jay once. Granted, it was serving Jay's partner 95% of the balls, and it still probably is one of my best, if not my best wins I've ever had.
So you're probably going to get all the balls.
Yeah,
what do you?
I would assume.
What do you think? I guess you're just going to have to see when you're there who you want to go after between Mark and Jay. That's not an easy choice.
I don't think not at all.
This is tough. Think that you guys might have the edge serving unless Mark's shoulder is really going. I think that blocking is about equal. James, Mark is good at digging hard drivens and transitioning. You might be able to get about the same amount of transition balls. This is an unobjective statement, but I'm going to go with Mark because Mark just knows how to win, and he has done it for a long time. So I'm actually going to go with Mark and Jay on this one. Do I need to get off the video?
I'll respect your opinion. I think finding a win here would definitely be a big win for me personally.
Yep.
I think definitely within the Atlantic region, past 5-10 years, 2 very big names within the region. I remember probably 2 years ago, I think me, you, and Andrew were having a conversation about and maybe Greg, we're having a conversation, kind of a pecking order conversation. And Jay Madero's name came up, for example, and people were like, do we think so-and-so is better than Jay Madero? And I think Andrew just flat out said, absolutely not. And then you're like, what's your reasoning? And he was like, how many bills has Jay Madero won?
Sure.
And the same thing can be said for Mark.
Yeah.
They both have a history of winning a lot of tournaments, both know how to win. I'll definitely have to bring 100, 105% of what I can bring if we're gonna win that match. So hopefully we're fortunate enough to get it, and hopefully I've prepared enough to get through that matchup. But I respect your pick, and I'll do everything I can to prove you wrong.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Semifinal. We have Angel Dache, Jeff Samuels against Mark and Jay. We have both former partners, former partner against former partner, and former partner against former partner in this matchup.
It's pretty funny how that works.
Yeah.
Mark has beaten Angel plenty of times, but I think Angel's probably got the better of him on the long term.
Yeah.
Mark might vehemently dispute that. Don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's because Mark's got great selective memory. He, in his mind, like you were saying, Mark keeps track of who's beaten him and who he's never lost to. And the list of who he's never lost to is actually every single player that you've ever known.
I don't know. That's a strong statement there from the other lefty involved in this tournament. The same cannot be said for Jason and Angel. To my knowledge, since the two of them haven't been regularly playing together, I don't think Angel's lost to Jay.
Right.
So I think Angel and Jeff take this one, and I'm going to say it's in 2.
Yeah, I think the difference in physicality is just too much for Jay and Mark to overcome. Like their margin of error to even be competing in this match, frankly, they have to be perfect on just about every point.
I mean, it was Mark and Nolan last year that won a Captain Bills over Angel.
Who was Angel playing with?
But I was going to say it was Angel and Caleb that tournament, and the margins were incredibly thin. And the rationale goes that Jeff is definitely a better, more experienced player than Caleb, and Madero is not a better player than Nolan. So I think you got to.
Like I wasn't there for that, but I would assume that a lot of the points being generated were Nolan bombing some serves.
Absolutely, Nolan bombing jumpers.
Right. So we'll go with Angel and Jeff, and then in the other one.
Actually, the other one, you don't even have to tell me who the teams are.
You know what it is? I messed this up. Let's go back. It's Angel and Jeff against Andrew and Misha.
Oh, I see. Well, see, it wasn't going to matter who you said, because out of principle, you have to pick against Misha in any semifinal. I think the man has had more third place finishes in the past year than almost anybody else. And we got to expect that he's gonna maintain that trend.
Fair enough. He's 2018 Kevin and Brian Dirks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I think we had 9 third place finishes in like 11 tournaments. Something like that.
Yeah, I think I gotta agree. Next match, Drucker and Tillman against Mark and Jay.
That's brutal. If you ask Mark, I think Mark says they win this in 2 easy. He's beaten Tillman a ton of times, and I think if you ask Tillman, he's like, Mark and Jay don't have a chance. So I don't think I can pick against Nick on this one unless Brian is just really, really struggling to set.
Right. It's funny because I feel like if you ask Mark and Tillman about this, both are going to say, like, I think out of Mark and Tillman's mouth, you might hear, I'm the best player on the court and I'm going to find a way to win this. And Nick very well at this point in time might be the best player on that court.
Who knows?
With for sure the best block, paired with for sure the best blocker on the court as well. So I think Drucker and Tillman find a way to win.
All
right. Final. Drucker and Tillman against Angel and Jeff. I will point out that we did pick Angel and Jeff over Mark and Jay as well. So I think that means that they're actually taking a 4th place here rather than a 3rd.
It's pretty funny. Mine, it might say 3rd, but in reality, we all know it's 4th.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I've picked against Drucker, I've been wrong. So that said, though, Angel doesn't lose much in Wilmington, except for he doesn't lose much with Jeff in Wilmington. So what are you thinking here?
I mean, my thought, I think Nick would say, let's look back at the Angel matchup that I just had, where I just beat Angel in the finals and everyone picked against me, and look at that. And my response to that, frankly, is that, I didn't say this in the recap video, but kind of processing what happened and going back through what I saw in that previous final, Chris Vaughn absolutely just ran out of gas. Not to discredit what Nick and Brett brought to the table. I mean, they sided out incredibly well and found ways to win points and outlasted Chris Vaughn, but it was somewhere around like halfway through set two. Vaughn ran out of gas, started having Angel, split. All the signs were there for Vaughn running out of steam, and his offense kind of reflected that, and they found a way to take advantage, which all the credit in the world to them. But Jeff's not going to run out of gas.
I agree. Although he did run out of gas in Myrtle. I think he started cramping.
Yeah. I mean, that was a significantly longer day, though. And he somehow found a way to mentally will himself back into playing without cramps. Kind of which I think the only other person I've really seen do that is like Cam Beans. But then it's also questionable whether he was ever cramping in the first place at times. Or whether it's just a mental game that Cam was playing. But regardless, we've had Jeff straight through. He's going to be very well rested. He's going to have been doing all of his soft tissue work. If you don't know what that is, go talk to Jeff about it, and he'd love to tell you about his soft tissue work. We got to go with Angel and Jeff.
Yeah, I think the move here is to pick against Nick, because that I believe is the.
Yeah, I mean, I think as the local version of Phil and Nick, how did Phil and Nick do today?
They did terribly. I think they got beaten a set 21-9.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's going to be a 21-9 set, but I don't see him coming out victorious.
So we picked Angel to win in Wilmington.
Yeah, real original of us.
That's right.
Get through. We picked the 1 and the 2 seeds to go straight through the final. Again, real original. I mean, all the credit. I would say the only part where we got original was having we picked the 6 over the 4 in the 5th place match.
That's funny.
Like everywhere else, we pretty much went chalk, which historically is a bad sign. But this also strikes me a bit as you described a cliff tournament.
Yeah, I think what we've got here is, I think the bracket, it looks good, and I'm kind of excited to see how many we get right.
Yeah.
Well, I got to get back on the road, so thanks for doing the video with me. It was fun.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for bracket technical difficulties. I definitely didn't bring my best today, but I think a lot of it was a little weirdness with some partner shuffles and already having a bracket filled in versus, and then having to correct some picks and blah blah blah. But we'll do better next time.
Tomorrow, and keep me posted.
All right, we'll do. Thanks for hopping on.
Have a good one.
You too.